Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about, are you avoiding commitment in relationships? When it comes to relationships and committing, we tend to get scared. We tend to run when something is getting serious. We start to develop that fear of commitment and fear of vulnerability and a lot of emotional background from our childhood, attachment styles, all are raised to the surface because we start to develop that fear of commitment and we start to question ourselves, are we actually ready to move forward with this particular person? I want to dive deep into some areas of what is stopping us from committing and what are the fears and the inner emotional rooting to the problem and to the issue. One of the main reasons someone avoids commitment is down to the vulnerability and the fear with intimacy. For someone in particular who is emotionally unavailable, will fear opening up to a new person and feeling vulnerable because they fear of being rejected, they fear of abandonment. And this is what someone who is an avoidant, who has or is emotionally unavailable, this is one of the main big issues with emotionally unavailable people is that they fear vulnerability. And that is the reason why they cannot commit. This often stems from childhood when they were neglected or emotionally abandoned from their caregivers or their parents. And this actually reflects into adulthood, into other relationships, that they have adopted the thought and the belief that if their parents, their caregivers, their guardians cannot give them the love and support they need as a child, then they're not going to seek that as an adult because they've adopted the belief that they're unworthy, they're unlovable, and that will go throughout their life, throughout their adulthood, making them an avoidant, making them fear vulnerability, fear abandonment, fear rejection. This is a created, deep seated belief that they have within themselves. And then they don't actually want to let anyone in. When it comes to vulnerability and the up wounded and the experiences from abandonment, experiences from the childhood start to erase and reappear into adult life, you may, or they may, your partner who you are dating or in a relationship with, have fostered a sense of abandonment, which makes it hard for someone to stay emotionally sustainable and present in a relationship. So when it comes to dating and that person finds you attractive, or it could be yourself, you find this other person attractive, but then all the fears start to rise and come to your mind, and your subconscious mind is telling you, no, we can't date this person because they might abandon us, they might hurt us. Look what happened in your childhood. Look what your parents, look what your caregivers did to you. She or he's going to do exactly the same as what they did. And it's going to hurt us. It's going to hurt us so badly that we're better off alone. We're better off just being by ourselves so no one can hurt us. This is what the subconscious mind does. It tries to keep you safe and it tries to fill your mind with negative beliefs and the beliefs of abandonment, the beliefs of neglect, the beliefs of rejection, because it's reminding you of the memories as a child that you actually haven't healed. For us to move forward and try get into a relationship or try push forward and get rid of the negative beliefs, get rid of the child abandonment that we have in our lives, we have to first acknowledge the pain, first acknowledge what happened in the past, and allow yourself to be vulnerable, allow yourself to trust again. Because deep down, You don't want to open up, or they don't want to open up to you. Depending which situation you are here for, it works always. What you need to do is you have to open your heart back up and you have to allow people in. Vice versa to the person that you are dating, he or she, sooner or later, they have to open up their hearts again and they have to be vulnerable to let people in. Otherwise, you will be closed off. You will develop hyper independence and you will isolate yourself and become a hermit. And the negative thoughts and beliefs will only get worse because your negative beliefs and subconscious mind will keep telling you you are unworthy, no one loves you, no one is coming into your life. We're going to be single forever, no one loves me. Hey ho, I'm going to be one of those women with 10,000 cats. You have to change your mindset. You have to believe you will find someone and you have to open up. You have to become vulnerable. The next one is fear of losing your own independence. When it comes to a new relationship or dating, you start to fear that you will lose your independence if you start dating, you start a relationship with this person. It may have been when you were a child, you were so independent to yourself, you relied on yourself, that you're just so comfortable on your own because you didn't get that as a child. You didn't get the love and support and emotional stability from your caregivers, your parents, your guardians. So you had to take on the parent role to your own self. And you also had to look after siblings or even your own parents. You took on more responsibility than what you should have as a child. So then that has allowed you to grow up as a very independent person, very self reliant on yourself. And because you rely so much on yourself and you're so independent and you've done everything for yourself, bringing someone else into your life to share can be a little bit of a scary moment and a little bit of a tricky situation because you're not used to that. You didn't have that love and support as a child. So you're like, how do I do this? How can I accept this? This is out of my comfort zone. This is out of the box. How can this work? And this can become very overwhelming. And this is where a lot of people avoid commitment because you've been by yourself and independent for so long. You're going to just rely on yourself and think, I don't need anyone. I've got me, which is amazing. It's absolutely amazing to always rely on yourself and know how much you love yourself. But we have to open up. We have to step outside of the box, step outside of our comfort zone. And if we want to allow and experience that love, we have to open our hearts and we have to open our minds. This fear, when it comes to your own independence, is very reliant on the attachment style of the avoidant because they have learnt in earlier life that they don't need to depend on anyone but themselves. This can be quite dangerous because this is a mechanism that they have within inside of themselves that allows them to not commit, to allows them that they don't sustain or show much emotion when it comes to a relationship or dating. And this is why avoidants tend to enjoy the experience and enjoy the dating, breadcrumb you, but at the end tell you that they're not actually looking for a relationship when deep down it really felt like a relationship. And then they kind of say it to you like a slap in the face, like, I'm not ready for a relationship. This person has shown you how emotionally unavailable they are due to their attachment styles and their child abandonment, that they don't take commitment serious and they pull away, leaving you hurt, broken, and confused. This may be actually speaking of yourself. For you watching today, you may be like, oh, I don't know. But if this resonates with you, then I ask you to open up your heart. Understand that being or having a committed relationship isn't going to let you lose yourself. or your independence. There has to be a healthy balance in any relationship, and knowing that you can sustain a loving, healthy, supporting relationship, this should help lessen the fear. Another reason why you or a person that you're thinking of cannot commit to a relationship or fear commitment is because you don't feel good enough. You have these negative beliefs that you aren't worthy of love, you aren't worthy of this person, or vice versa. You have developed this low self worth, and it's creating issues in your day to day life and your relationships. This usually stems from childhood when your parents or your caregiver were around, but they weren't emotionally available to you. As a child, you or this other person may have undergone not receiving the love and support that you needed. Because as a child, we go through that period and mirror from our parents and our caregivers. And this is the most crucial time because we are like sponges as a child. We absorb everything. And as a child, we need to absorb that love, that support from our caregivers, our parents. But if our parents aren't emotionally present or emotionally giving us the love and support, we then start to acknowledge that, oh, we're not worthy, we're not lovable, they don't love me, they're not giving me the time of day, they're not hugging me, they're not kissing me, they're not telling me they love me. Then you start to just absorb that. You start to absorb all the negativity, a child like a sponge, and you take that with you into adulthood. You start to not feel good enough about yourself, how you look, your intelligence, anything. You or this other particular person start to seek and want approval all the time. You want, or they want, validation in themselves. This emotional neglect impacts us and scars us for our adulthood, for our potential relationships. You or this other particular person may want to get out into the dating scene, want to find a relationship, get married, have children, but the inner self, with the subconscious mind and the negative beliefs telling you you are not worthy, you're not lovable, this actually mirrors out, and you attract the wrong people because you're mirroring what you're projecting out of yourself. You're projecting this person that doesn't love themselves, that they're unworthy, they're unlovable. So you're actually going to attract that back into your life. You're going to attract the same male or female into your life, and they're going to be feeling this exact same as you. And then you're in this bubble together of negativity. And this causes a lot of problems in relationships because you're just stuck in this negative cycle and you're bouncing off each other's energy of negativity. Until you both work on yourselves, work together, that is when it can really flourish and get rid of this bubble and just bring out the positivity of, I love myself, I'm worthy, I'm lovable. It's all about working with the past wounds, the neglect, the abandonment, and just acknowledging what happened in the past, how you can move forward in the future, heal your inner child, and love yourself. A lot of the time, people will avoid commitment because they start to remember what happened in previous relationships of rejection, cheating, abandonment, and that pain also stems from childhood abandonment, neglect. And it's happened in relationships. It could have happened many times. And this memory just rotates and cycles around your mind like the next person is going to cheat on me, the next person's going to abandon me, the next person's going to treat me really badly. And you start to just develop this negative belief that you're not worthy, you're not good enough. Until you change that, you will then attract the one that you desire. And I have more videos on how to heal your inner child, how to understand child abandonment wounds, attachment styles. I am also releasing a book on how to heal your inner child and how to understand and acknowledge the first stages to healing so that you can, in the future, develop and have great relationships with yourself and with other people and relationships. Thank you.